There's one thing every man does when he is truly in love, something he would never do if he were simply interested or casually spending time with you. And the difference is so profound that once you see it, you'll instantly understand why so many women mistake fleeting attraction for real, lasting love. After years of observing men how they behave when they're genuinely in love versus when they're just exploring their options, I began to notice a pattern, a quiet, powerful shift that happens without fail. And I'm not talking about the usual signs like texting every day, planning dates, or saying all the right things. What I'm talking about is something deeper, something quietly transformative, something real. You see, from a very young age, men are taught to build emotional walls. We learn that showing vulnerability makes us weak, that a real man stays composed, strong, and always in control. So when a man begins to slowly dismantle those walls in front of you, when he lets you see the parts of him that he hides from everyone else, it's not just emotional intimacy. It's a silent declaration of love. What most people don't realize is this. When a man is truly in love, he stops trying to impress you and starts trying to connect with you. He no longer needs to appear perfect. He wants to be seen not for his accomplishments or confidence, but for his true human self. And this shift reveals itself in very specific, unmistakable ways. The first and perhaps most telling sign is this. He begins to share his failures with you. Not the surface-level stories we all tell on early dates, but the real ones. The kind of emotional scars that still linger years later. He'll tell you about the time he made a decision he regrets deeply, how he ruined something precious out of immaturity, or how fear held him back from chasing something that mattered. When a man opens up like this, he's doing something revolutionary, especially in a world that teaches men to only ever show strength. He's telling you, without words, I trust you with the truth of who I am. Because let's face it, men spend much of their lives trying to prove they're capable, reliable, and strong. But when a man loves you deeply, that desire fades. He no longer wants to look invincible, he wants to be understood. And here's where it becomes even more powerful. A man in love won't just talk about his past mistakes. He'll begin to share the things that still scare him today. He'll tell you about the insecurities that wake him in the middle of the night, the doubts that whisper he's not enough, not for you, and not for the life he dreams of building with you. This is something you will never see from a man who's only half interested. Because when a man is simply intrigued, he shows you his polished side, confident, composed, collected. But when he's in love, he wants you to see him fully, flaws, fears, and all. Because real love isn't about performance. It's about authenticity. And true connection can only grow in a space where two people feel safe to be entirely themselves. This transformation is nothing short of beautiful. A man who once carried the weight of invincibility now admits he doesn't have all the answers, that he sometimes feels lost, that he needs reassurance too. And he doesn't say these things because he's weaker, but because he's emotionally stronger. He has matured. He's realized that real strength is found in vulnerability, shared with the right person. And one of the most tender signs of this change? Humor. A man in love won't just share his victories. He'll share his most embarrassing, clumsy moments, and he'll laugh at them with you. He'll tell you how he once blurted out something foolish in front of a crowd, or how he once made a complete mess of something important. And he won't feel any less masculine when he does. Because when he can laugh with you at his imperfections and still feel safe, still feel respected, he knows he's found something rare. A space where he can finally breathe. A space where he doesn't have to perform. A space where he can just be imperfect, real, human. And that is the space we men have been searching for our entire lives. But we only open that door for the ones who truly matter. What makes this kind of shared humor so meaningful is the intimacy it creates. Not the kind meant to impress or lighten the mood, but the kind that springs from absolute trust. It's the humor that says, I let you laugh at me because I know you don't judge me. You love me even here. This type of laughter doesn't come from ego. It comes from safety, and it creates a bond that is rarely spoken of, but deeply felt. Yet there is something even deeper that begins to unfold when a man is truly in love. He starts to talk about his childhood, his family, his roots, and for most men, this territory is sacred. It is often quiet, often guarded, and almost always layered with emotion, especially when it involves pain or unresolved memories. When a man opens up about his relationship with his parents, the tension within his family, or the moments in his early life that shaped who he is, he's offering you something rare, a glimpse into his emotional blueprint. He's letting you see the boy he once was so you can more fully understand the man he is today. And believe me, we do not share this part of ourselves lightly. We do it only with someone we want to walk beside us, not just in the present, but into the future. When we open up about our past, especially the parts that still ache, we are showing a level of vulnerability that many men spend their entire lives protecting. He might talk about a distant father, an overbearing mother, a childhood filled with pressure, loneliness, or love that never quite arrived in the way he needed. These stories are not just memories. They are emotional fingerprints. They explain his fears, his reactions, the way he handles love, trust, conflict, and silence. When the man shares these parts of himself with you, he is saying without words, I trust you so much that I am willing to let you see what still hurts. What many women don't realize is that speaking about childhood, especially painful or complicated memories, requires enormous emotional courage from a man. These stories aren't just stories, they're the origin of who we are. They're often tangled in shame, loss, or confusion. And in sharing them, we're not just giving you information, we're giving you the map to who we are and how we love. And then there comes another clear and beautiful sign of real love. How he talks about you, not in vague surface level compliments like, you're so beautiful, or you're fun to be around. No, a man in love speaks with depth. He doesn't just say you're special, he tells you why. He can describe how your laughter lights something in him, how the way you speak to others shows your heart, how your presence brings him calm when his world feels chaotic. He notices the smallest details, the ones no one else sees. And more importantly, he remembers them. He'll say things like, the way you encourage people when they're struggling, that changed the way I see kindness. Or, when you look at me a certain way, I feel like everything might actually be okay. This is not flattery. This is awareness. This is emotional intimacy. He's not just enjoying your company, he is studying your soul. And with that love comes fear. Not fear of you, but fear of losing you. A fear that he may not be enough, that someone else might take his place. These fears may sound like insecurities, but they are, in fact, evidence of just how much you matter. A man doesn't fear losing what he can live without, and he doesn't worry about being good enough unless he's genuinely invested in being good for you. If he can speak these fears aloud, if he removes the mask and lets you see his emotional uncertainty, it is one of the most honest forms of love a man can show. It is the opposite of indifference. It is raw and it is real. Because the man who is merely interested might compliment your looks. He'll enjoy the good times and keep the conversations light. But the man who is in love, he'll admire the way your heart works. He'll remember the way you comforted someone. He'll tell you, when you walk into a room, the energy shifts. You don't just take up space, you bring life to it. This kind of expression is never random. It's precise, personal, and full of presence. He's not just watching you, he's witnessing you. And perhaps the strongest sign of all is this: he shares his dreams with you, especially the ones that scare him, the ones he keeps hidden from the world because they carry not just hope, but risk. Risk of failure, risk of disappointment, risk of falling short in front of someone who matters. You see, men often guard their greatest ambitions, not because we lack them, but because failure is easier to bear when no one sees it. But when we love someone, truly love them, we invite them into that secret space. We say, this is what I hope for. This is what I long for. This is what I dream of becoming. And we say it knowing that if we fall short, you'll see us fall. That's how much we trust you. That's how much you mean. And this, the willingness to share dreams, doubts, and desires, directly contradicts the image of the always capable, always confident man. So when a man tells you about a project he's always wanted to pursue, when he speaks of a career change he's considering, or a personal goal that both excites and terrifies him, and especially when he invites your opinion, or includes you in the vision he's doing something remarkable, he's going against his deeply ingrained instinct to protect himself. He's risking the image of the successful man he's worked so hard to uphold, in order to show you something far more intimate, the man behind the ambition, his hopes, his fears, his fragile belief in what could be. And here's something many people overlook. When a man includes you in his future dreams, when he talks about plans that involve you, seeks your thoughts on major life decisions, or imagines a future that unfolds with you in it, this isn't just courtesy. This isn't about politeness or making conversation. This is his way of saying, you are no longer just a beautiful addition to my life. You are the foundation of the future I want to build. This inclusion is one of the deepest forms of love a man can express, because to envision a future and place you at the center of it means he no longer sees his life as separate from yours. When he imagines success, he sees you there celebrating with him. When he thinks about challenges, he imagines you by his side weathering them together. You are not just in his present, you are in his plans, in his visions, in his tomorrows. And this becomes even more profound when he doesn't just share his dreams, but also the insecurities that come with them. When the man tells you he's afraid he might not be talented enough, when he confesses he questions his courage or worries he's making the wrong decisions, he is handing you the most unguarded part of himself. He's not just letting you see the confident man he wants to be, he's letting you meet the uncertain man he sometimes is. And this kind of vulnerability requires enormous courage. Because in those moments, he's no longer performing. He's no longer trying to impress. He's saying, I need you to see me exactly as I am and not turn away. And he does this because your support, your presence, your understanding mean more to him than protecting the illusion of perfection. He's willing to set down the mask in order to build something real with you. But there are moments of male vulnerability that run even deeper. And those are the moments when a man shares his most emotionally significant pains with you. I'm talking about the life-altering experiences, the ones that carve themselves into his spirit, the loss of someone he loved deeply, the betrayal that broke his trust, the seasons of depression or despair, the days or years he felt utterly lost. When a man tells you these stories, when he allows you to step into the spaces where he was most fragile, most human, most broken, he is doing something sacred. He's offering you his truth. And this is not something we men do easily or often. We only open those doors for someone we trust completely, for someone we believe is strong enough and kind enough to hold our broken pieces without turning them into weapons. These aren't just stories. They are the chapters that shaped us, the wounds that taught us, the moments that broke us open, so something deeper could grow in the space that remained. When a man shares this part of his past with you, he isn't just recounting what happened, he's letting you see how it changed him, what he learned, what still lingers, the fears that remain, the questions that still haunt him. This is his way of saying, I want you to know not just what I've been through, but how it made me who I am. And when he trusts you enough to show you that, you are no longer just someone he loves. You are someone who knows his core, someone who holds a map to his heart, not just the good and the easy, but the raw and the real. And that is the kind of love that doesn't fade. That's the kind of love that builds something lasting. I want you to know my wounds because they are part of me. And if you want to love me, you have to love all of me, including the cracks. There's no greater act of trust than this. This kind of openness takes on an especially profound form when a man begins to talk to you about his mental health. In a world where men are still expected to be emotionally unshakable, Admitting to anxiety, depression, or emotional overwhelm is not just vulnerability, it is extraordinary courage. So, when a man tells you that he has faced emotional lows, that he's had days where the weight of the world felt like too much, that he, too, needs support sometimes, he's breaking through one of the last, hardest walls of traditional masculinity. And in doing so, he is telling you something deeply significant. I trust you enough to let you see me without the armor. He's letting you witness the moments when he wasn't a strong, steady figure the world expects of him, but simply a human being, tired, unsure, overwhelmed. And what makes this so powerful is that he's not just being emotionally honest. He is actively unlearning the outdated definition of manhood to create something more real with you. He is choosing connection over image, truth over performance, vulnerability over control. And that choice is never easy because it goes against everything many men have been taught about how to exist in this world. Yet, in that very contradiction lies something beautiful. When a man chooses to show you the sides of himself, he usually hides his weariness, his doubts, his fears. He's not just being vulnerable. He's laying the foundation for a kind of love that can weather any storm, because it's not built on illusion. It's built on truth. And when this moment happens, when he opens up in this way, you must understand what you're truly witnessing. You're not just hearing confessions. You're witnessing something sacred. A man choosing authenticity over admiration. Real emotional closeness over safe distance. Depth over image. And you over his fear. You are witnessing a man saying, you are worth the risk of being fully seen, the risk of not being understood, the risk of not being perfect in your eyes. Because this right here is the fundamental difference between a man who is merely interested and a man who is truly in love. The man who is interested wants to be admired. He wants to be desired. He'll show you his best angles, his polished edges, the parts of himself that are easy to love and require nothing of you but enjoyment. He'll keep certain doors closed, maintain a distance. He wants you to be impressed, but not necessarily invited in. But the man who is in love, he wants to be known. He will let you in. He will show you his contradictions, his doubts, his dreams, and his fears. He will show you not only the man the world sees, but also the man who lies awake at night wondering if he's doing enough, being enough, becoming enough. He will let you see the truth of him, not just the version that shines in the light, but also the one that wrestles in the dark. And this is the deepest truth of all. When a man opens up to you emotionally like this, he is offering far more than just personal information. He's inviting you into a level of intimacy that goes beyond the romantic, beyond the physical. He is giving you access to his inner world, to the thoughts he doesn't speak out loud, to the wounds that still sting, to the quiet hopes he carries but doesn't always dare to chase. He is saying without ever needing to say it, I am not just looking for someone to share the beautiful moments with. I am looking for someone to share the entire journey with. The highs, the lows, the victories, the doubts, the late nights, the breakdowns, the healing, not just a partner in joy, a partner in life. This is the greatest invitation a man can offer, to truly know him and to allow yourself to be truly known in return. It is the quietest yet most powerful invitation a man can offer you, the invitation to build something that goes far beyond physical attraction or surface level compatibility. It is the invitation to create a connection that doesn't fade over time, but deepens. That doesn't break under pressure, but strengthens. That is built not on illusion, but on the radical acceptance of each other's truth. And once you truly understand what that means, what it looks like when a man opens his heart to you in this way, your entire view of relationships begins to shift. You stop mistaking chemistry for connection. You stop being swayed by grand gestures or pretty words. And instead, you begin to feel the profound value of something quieter, something deeper. A man who has the courage to show you who he really is. Because real intimacy, lasting intimacy, is not found in perfect moments. It lives in the raw ones, in the difficult conversations, in the willingness to sit with discomfort, in the ability to hold not just someone's hand, but their vulnerability. So if you are experiencing this with someone right now, if you recognize these signs in your relationship, know this. You found something rare, something sacred, because not every man is ready for this level of emotional truth. Not every man has the maturity to surrender the armor, to step beyond the image of strength he spent a lifetime protecting. Not every man understands that real strength is found in being open, not untouchable, in being seen, not worshipped, in being known, not admired from a distance. But if you haven't yet found this kind of connection, don't lose heart, and above all, don't settle. Because this kind of love does exist. And when it enters your life, you will know it instantly by the calm it brings, by how safe you feel, by the difference between a man who wants to impress you and the man who wants to understand you, between the one who sees you as a prize and the one who sees you as home. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever experienced this kind of connection? Have you ever recognized these signs in a past relationship? Or has this given you a new lens through which to see how men truly show love? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your experience might help another woman recognize the quiet signs of something real, something rare when she sees them.